Name is Marilyn Burnett. I am your astrologer, back with the messages for the week of November 18th, 2024, which means there's only 6 weeks left in this year. It's unbelievable. So we have a little less stressful energy this week, but things are starting to shift and change. So we're going to talk about some of those big major shifts that are going on this week. We will have just had some kind of a shocking, surprising full moon, which I'm recording this before that happens. So we'll see what actually shakes up as a result of that. But I imagine it will be something we'll still be talking about as we kick off this week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you haven't been subscribing to my channel yet. So be sure and click on the subscribe link below. And then make sure you go out to my website, marilynburnett.com. That way you can easily access my videos, my daily tarot cards, my written information and content, like the full moon in Scorpio. Sorry, I keep saying that. The full moon in Taurus that we just had the month of November and December, and soon to come, I know I keep promising this, will be all of the 2025 content, which the more I look at it, the more I write about it, and I'm trying not to make it so overwhelming. So eventually I will get that snapshot view out there for you as well, which includes a breakdown of the houses where the big shifts and changes are happening, and there's so many. So it's a little complicated as we look at 2025 as a result of that. And I also have an in-depth 2-hour Zoom session that you can book with me where we will walk through your chart and all of the changes and shifts. So much change going on next year. You will want to be prepared. We're talking nodes are shifting. Pluto's just going to shift. We'll talk about that today. Saturn will shift. Neptune will shift. Jupiter will shift. 2 retrogrades with Mercury and Venus at the same time. Finishing a Mars retrograde. I mean, there's no rushing things in 2025. Want to really look at that. So consider booking a session with me so that you can be prepared for all of the changes ahead. So that, of course, you can find discount pricing on my website once you become a member. And then I email you the content, and I don't spam you, and I don't send 10,000 emails either. So let me know if I can help you. Now, let's dive in. This will be an easier week because we're not doing any breakdown by all the signs like we did for last week's full moon content. And like I said, it's a bit quieter week, so we might need to be in recovery a bit from all of the shocks and changes lately. So as we get started, just a reminder, here on Monday, we have clicking back in so I can find myself and I can find Monday. Saturn, as you notice, no longer in red means that it's no longer in retrograde. So all the work, all the lessons that we've been learning about healthy boundaries with Saturn in Pisces, well, now we're ready to apply what we've learned from the restriction that we've been under for what feels like forever. So it's slowly sitting here, spinning at basically the degree of the end of its retrograde, and it will slowly move forward through the rest of this year, but of course still stay in the sign of Pisces. Then the other energy that is helpful, it might feel a little dreamy, very creative, is Neptune, still in retrograde, also in the sign of Pisces, is having a positive, this blue line with the triangle is a trine with the sun in Scorpio. And so that can provide you with some kind of an opportunity, but you have to take advantage of it. So something might be presented to you, a creative opportunity. Maybe it's something to do with your finances. Maybe it combines the two, which is exactly what you want when you have the sun and Neptune working together. And it's a good thing, but you have to act on whatever this is that's being presented to you. Now, when we think about opposition energies with the red lines where things feel really difficult, We have a couple of those going on here still. The Uranus opposition with the sun that happened all last week. It was at a peak when it was the full moon in Taurus, and it continues as they slowly separate from one another. So you may still be, like I said, feeling some of the after effects of whatever last week's confrontations were about for you. And we may, in the collective as well, still be recovering from whatever that is. But Uranus, while being surprising, it can also be innovative. And all surprises aren't bad, right? So maybe something good happened. But oppositions usually mean it's a difficult surprise. The moon is moved on, and now it is sitting in its home sign of Cancer, and it's having a bit of a difficult conversation with Venus and Capricorn. Now, Venus and Capricorn is much more serious and grounded. There's some kind of a conflict here between maybe women, right? The moon is women. Cancer's mothers, right? Venus would be a woman who is in a corporate role or a woman who's in the government, and there's some kind of conflict that's going on. Now, it's a soft conflict, right? Venus is a benefic. The moon is also soft and gentle, although emotional. But there is some kind of tension here as well. And even more so, we still have the tension between Jupiter and Mercury. However, they're in each other's signs while they've been having this difficult conversation. So there's some kind of an appreciation for each other as they face off with one another. So this has been, again, maybe something eye-opening that we've needed to learn. We needed to keep the faith over, something that's shown to us that, again, it could have been part of the shocking events of the full moon, but we're still in it. There's still this belief that you had, and as a result of what Mercury is showing and what Jupiter is showing, you can't hang on to the belief any longer. You have to change your perspective in some way, and it's not easy to do that. Although when you do change it, because of the positive connection between Mercury, information, the mind, right? Sagittarius, worldviews, right? And Chiron and Aries, something could be healed. Maybe there's peace talks. Maybe the conflict is what was needed in order to lead to this big breakthrough. And we might just see that breakthrough on Monday. And here's one more piece to the puzzle on Monday, which is Pluto and Capricorn. Finally at 29:59, the very last minute of its time in Capricorn. Since 2008, the story is now coming to an end, right? The transformation needs to be completed. And then as we progress until tomorrow, we have, again, a new shift in energy that involves the planet Pluto. So I think I've got everything covered here. The other thing I'm going to point out real quick, and we'll keep an eye on this, is, again, since last week, Mars in Leo, moving forward, but once it hits 6 degrees, and on December 6th, it will go retrograde. So everything that we think we've accomplished is about to be undone just a bit. So it could be a leadership role that becomes undone or becomes a struggle. Mars in Leo, of course, would be a man in a leadership position. But part of this work that we need to do is aligned with the nodes, right? In a positive aspect. So these are important lessons about our partnerships, about our independence, and about our leadership role that are fated as a collective, right? This is fated event that is going on at this time. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it neutral? It depends on the karma of the person that is being dealt this lesson, right? So we have to learn the lessons. We have to do what's right by ourself, right? That's Aries energy where the North Node is. But we also have to do right by our partners and take action, Mars, that leads others, which is Leo energy, the king. It could be something dramatic that happens. And whatever it is, it's fated and it causes a reaction, causes us to take action in some way. So we'll be watching this because it's been slowly getting closer and closer together over the past week, and it will get exact later this week as well. All right, let us take a peek at the big day, Tuesday. Drum roll, please. Pluto. Thank you, Pluto, for your time spent restructuring our lives for the last, seems like almost 20 years, right? Since 2008, we've been looking at the corporate world and all the restructuring, the financial markets and all the restructuring, banking and all the restructuring, the power of government and its restructuring, right? We've seen so many changes. And now the work is as good as it gets. This is it. We're done doing the work of that Capricorn energy. And now we move into Aquarius. So last January, about the 19th, 20th, somewhere in that range, was when Pluto first jumped into the sign of Aquarius to give us a preview. It moved forward from January till March, April, May. It was when the retrograde began, and then it jumped back again into Capricorn, and we've been doing the final review at 29 degrees, that critical degree, and it certainly felt critical in many places as a result. So now when you get to the zero energy, it's a new sign, it's a new degree, it's a zero, right? It's a complete reset. This is the Fool card in tarot, right? It's the zero. And that means this is a quest, right? A brand new quest that we are on. And this one will literally be a 20-year quest because I believe it's 2044 that will spend its time here restructuring all this Aquarian energy. We the people, right? The power of the government is Capricorn. The power of the people is Aquarius. And it's not a surprise, right? As we were fighting for independence as America was being created, right? 1776 through 78, all of that time as we were in these battles were across these two energies as well, between Capricorn and Aquarius. It's revolutionary when we get into Aquarian energy. So you can think back to the first part of 2024 to get some ideas of how this energy impacted you personally. Now, you'll notice it more, of course, if you happen to have planets that are at very late degrees or very early degrees of the signs, especially in Aquarius themselves. My guess is, especially early Aquarius degrees, you started something, a journey, a quest, right, at the beginning of 2024. Then you had to do all the work, Capricorn, to finish up whatever you had to finish in order to achieve this new thing, whatever that is for you. And that very much depends on the house and what planets are impacted for you. So this is it. This is us moving forward. And Pluto, of course, is ruler of the underworld. It deals in fear and power. It's death and rebirth. It's about transformation. And I believe strongly we need to see our fears. We need to see what is broken. We have to face it in order to fix it. And this energy is also very a psychological energy, right? Pluto rules Scorpio. So a lot of times this planet's work, and because it's also an outer planet, it's way out of bounds out there. It's subtle and beneath the surface, only coming out to strike when it is being harshly aspected by other energies, or positively, right? So as it first enters here, and we'll be talking about that, its conversation that it will have immediately is a positive one with the sun. So we will take a look at that. So we've still got this a bit of the opposition energy going on between Jupiter and Mercury, but they're making space, and everything else is moving on and moving forward as well. So I kind of like how Pluto's kind of standing alone, making this big shift and change, because that's how monumental and important it is. We're talking about all kinds of transformation with AI, with electronics, with electricity, with anything that's innovative, right? That's Aquarius, those airwaves, how they transmit data. There's something that could come up on Tuesday the 19th that in some ways could be a bit shocking, right? Maybe a decision is made that is shocking and upsetting to some people, but the reason for the decision is because of the response needed to it, more so than the decision itself. All right, let us move on to Wednesday. So this is the last day, the last time this year, right, that the sun is going to be shining a light on that dark energy that is Scorpio, right, ruled by Pluto. So again, all those themes of power and money and death and rebirth and transformation and psychology, right? Can be really challenging when you have this bright light on energy that likes to remain hidden. Like when I see stupid scorpions that come out during the daylight and they're supposed to stay hidden and they have to be dealt with. Stay hidden, Scorpios. You don't like to come out into the light. It's not safe. So this is the last day that we see that energy and that experience. Now, I said we're going to keep an eye on what's going on with Mars. Now, this again on Wednesday could be a big day. This is when the moon joins with Mars and things could get pretty heated. Again, something fated, something involving our lessons, something trying to get us to move forward, move on from the past in a healthy way. That there could be some kind of an emotional charge. Does it involve a woman in a leadership role with the moon in Leo and partnering up with a male figure in a leadership role? That's a possibility. So we shall see what we see on Wednesday as we finish up this energy. The other thing that we're going to notice briefly as the moon moves through here, first it will have had a bit of a tense conversation with Pluto and Aquarius. So this is their first meetup since Pluto's moved into Aquarius. So again, there can be some emotional challenges to the day. And then we're also going to see a bit of a grand water trine forming on this day because of the fact that we've got that sun at 29 degrees, and then we have Neptune at 27, and prior to the moon moving into Leo, so earlier in the day, it's the third point. So again, there's something that's triggering us emotionally. It positively is a trine, right? But there's something that when you have a trine like that and you have three energies working closely together, all in water, emotional, intuitive, you have to trust your gut about some choice, some decision that you need to make on Wednesday. And as a result of taking advantage of it, right, you could end up feeling really good about the choice that you make. So that is Wednesday. Let's move on into Thursday. So as I mentioned, there's the sun leaving Scorpio and in happy, fun, joyful, positive, hopeful Sagittarius energy. So things look a lot brighter now that we're out of the heavy darkness of that Scorpio energy. And the first thing the sun does after escaping from the underworld is seek adventure, seek lightness and brightness and growth, right? And as it does, it's having this immediate positive conversation with Pluto in Aquarius. So there could be some kind of coming together of foreign people, foreign countries. That's some energy that's aligned with the Sagittarius. Of course, there would be some kind of a group. That could be a leader in a foreign country. Also could be a leader in like a higher education role. There's some kind of opportunity that someone's being given, maybe to lead a large group that's associated with education or a foreign country, right? But it's something in your own life, right, where you feel empowered because of your friends, because of the groups that you belong to take a risk, take a trip, do something fun. So that's a good positive energy there. Then we have another, and that's a sextile. So they're 60 degrees away from each other. Soft, subtle energy. We also see Venus in Capricorn speaking in harmony with Saturn, ruler of Capricorn. So these are some serious commitments being made. And again, a woman in a corporate role, leadership role, business role, that it has this mentor, and together they're combining their efforts to build something positive. You may make a commitment, a financial commitment, a career commitment at this time because of the combination of these energies. And then this is the exact day. So maybe we haven't seen fully what the lesson is or what action we need to take, but that Mars energy is now exact with the North Node at 4 degrees of Aries and the South Node at 4 degrees of Libra. And keep in mind, we're winding down the lessons. We only have until January 11th to finish the work that the nodes have been preparing us for, right? For the last year and a half, we have been working on ourselves, what we want. And we've been letting go of toxic relationships in order to be healthier and stronger and independent and succeed on our own. Doesn't mean we ended every relationship out there, right? But for some, you had to move on from a relationship that was holding you back. And if you didn't, maybe now because of Mars' strength and passion and motivation, you feel like this is the time to make a big change. Look at all of the blue energy on this day. Thursday's a feel-good kind of energy. Even Jupiter still having its positive conversation with Chiron. Also, they speak in harmony with the moon while it transitions through Leo here. So there's something about Thursday, something about things feeling lighter and brighter after all the heavy tenseness that we've been going through. So looks like Thursday's so far looking like the best day of the week. So plan something fun and connect with the energy of joy on Thursday. All right. What you'll see as we keep moving forward is not a lot is going to change. As usual, of course, the moon will change, and as it does, it has conversations. We won't talk about them too much, but this conversation with Mars and the nodes is an extended one. So maybe this isn't a one and done kind of activity. It takes some effort to do whatever needs to be done at this time. And again, a lot of things around leadership and acting like a leader and a joyful one, right? A powerful one, not just a drama. You don't want to be a drama king, right? With the Mars in Leo, or drama queen, right? You want to lead with authority, but in a way that is positive and helpful. You don't want to take away people's choices or their independence, right? This leader would be one that helps people choose for themselves what they want. All right, so that is Friday. Then again, like I said, not a lot will shift and change. That's why I feel like Pluto's kind of like the big show, and Mars is the big show. But here's Mars finally stepping off a bit. But keep in mind, the nodes wind down to 0. And as they're winding down, when Mars goes back, it's going to review whatever it has been trying to do this week. So keep that in mind. If you feel like you started off on the wrong foot with whatever you've been presented with this Mars energy, you have a chance to rework it for several weeks. Long time it takes Mars to go retrograde. We're talking about into next year that this retrograde will be lasting. So it is a good time to just be patient, but take the actions that you're being guided to take, and then be prepared to slow down. And Mars retrogrades are tough, especially if you're used to just go, 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 go kind of energy. When Mars slows down, it's a bit like a spoiled brat. And because it has to slow down in Leo, where it wants to really have fun and take off, and then it has to slow down and pay attention to people's feelings and emotions when it goes into the sign of Cancer again, it's not going to like it. It's not going to behave well. So you got to watch yourself and your actions and make sure you have good positive outlets for your feelings and your frustrations so that you don't end up alienating everyone around you for the next 4 months. We're talking February, people, before this ends. And then we still have all the ground to cover again as we move forward. So know whatever doors are opening for you, there's more work to be done. So just stay, I always say, stay slightly detached. Don't have an outcome in mind. Just be curiously detached about what opportunities are coming up for you, because there's way more for you to see that you have not come close to seeing the full picture yet. All right. So that is Saturday. And then the only thing that we see that's a slightly different on this Sunday is another grand trine, but this one's in the fire signs. So now we still, of course, have Mars talking to the North Node, kind of wiggling back and forth between the 4 and 5 degrees. And this adds in the energy of the sun. So there's something pretty big, something noticeable, right? A huge opportunity that you can feel extremely passionate about. Again, especially if you have planets in those 0 to 5 degrees. You could even go to 10, but the tighter and closer you are to having planets at that 3 to 5 degree range, the more impactful this opportunity will be for you. And this is going to carry on into next week. So it doesn't, again, feel like something's just one and done. It feels like we're just starting to see what the potential of this opportunity could be. So speaking of, let's take a quick look just at next week. This is a kite. The kite formation is created from tension. And this tension, of course, is the North Node and the South Node. But the South Node's with Libra. So there's this imbalance, right, of what I want, what others want, And it's a very emotional charged event, right? Because of course we're talking about involving the moon, our feelings about relationships, justice, right? Something about justice or legal issues could be coming up. And in order to overcome whatever the legal issue is, for instance, we'll just focus on Libra and justice. Could be a relationship, could be marriage, could be divorce, could be a lawsuit in your business, right? Whatever it is for you, all of this blue energy around is what's going to help you launch your kite into the sky so that it is a symbol of your success. So that's the thing. With a kite, you have an opportunity, but if you don't have the tension from the red lines, if you don't have the supports, right, which is all the blue lines, you won't be able to launch whatever this is. And it looks to be a pretty big deal. So that's the energy of next week. And then we're going to be heading on through the week into a new moon in the sign of Sagittarius. So that's very positive and hopeful. We are also right here seeing Mercury slow down, and it's going to go retrograde from the 25th till the 15th of December. And while it's retrograde, as I mentioned, on December 6th, Mars is also retrograde. So I'm going to tell you right now, get your Christmas shopping done. Don't wait for things to get shipped to you. Go get it done, get it wrapped, because things are going to be chaotic and crazy, and it's going to be frustrating. You're not going to be able to get anything done quickly when you have both Mercury moving forward, transportation, communication, and Mars, our motivation to want to do anything, both going backwards and retrograde. I'm telling you now, that day after Thanksgiving sale, go do it. Go fight the crowds, go do your shopping or online shopping, whatever you're going to do. Get it done, get it ordered early, and get it out of the way. Go shopping, get your groceries, all the stuff, because when these things both go retrograde at the same time, you're going to have to go really slowly at whatever you do, or there will be multiple mistakes. All right. More on that next week. So thanks for tuning in. As usual, I'm as fascinated by the week ahead as you are, hopefully. That's why you're listening, my small but mighty channelers. I appreciate you. So thank you for liking and commenting and sharing and giving me feedback. If there's something else you want to see out of my content, let me know. I make changes all the time because of the feedback that people give me. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. We will talk again next week. Take care, everybody. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this astro lesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.